are back with another video. We're going to be watching a video from Write It Out today. A world where Aaron didn't come back. I think I know what video may have triggered this kind of response, but I want to see what his thoughts are on it. I'm curious if there's any parallel or connection between what he thinks might be going on in the new season of Maestro. I don't know. We'll see. It's the first time ever reacting to this guy, so I'm very, very much interested in this one. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to both his channel and mine. Hit the bell for notifications so YouTube and Twitch Senpai can notice us. Thank you. And without further ado, let's get right into the video.
Aphmau's no stranger to leaving references to Maestri or just full-on mentioning past events in these videos, and I'm not about to make a whole video about how one girl in an all Yandere movie night is canon to Maestri the Minecraft Diaries.
Really?
Like, can you imagine trying to fit in vampires and cat dog and Sonic and Corpse Bride into the lore? I would actually go insane.
I don't think there's any way you could fit Sonic into it, right? There's just no way, right? Okay, oh yeah, and then this came out. When did this video come out, by the way? When did that come out? Oh, 2 months ago? Not that long ago. Okay.
Oh god, no. So if Aphmau always leaves references in videos, why is this one video important? For context, not that long ago, Aphmau released—
That's the movie. Okay, so we watched this movie, guys, we reacted to this movie not too long ago, so definitely if you haven't checked that out, you want to see my full reaction to it, blind, I'll put the link in the description for you, but you definitely want to check that one out. This was a very interesting video. All right, let's see what he says about it.
Released a video called He's Dead, But He's Still Here, the movie. And in this video, much like her other ones, it basically takes a concept and she morphs it into a narrative and makes a fun video out of it. But this one is different, majorly so. For starters, normally Aphmau makes videos about vampires and werewolves and yanders and so making a video based on the game Silent Hill, a very popular horror game that tackles abuse, murder,
just real quick, guys. I did say Silent Hill when we watched this, right? I just want to make sure I was on the right track. This felt like Silent Hill. Is that correct? I think I did.
Fog, pizza, ice cream, and your mother. This is just a crazy departure. When you look at the video closely, you can definitely see that it takes heavy inspiration from the original Silent Hill 2, but it also does way more than just take inspiration. It would be really easy just to take a few ideas from the game, but instead, this video takes that idea of what Silent Hill is, and it fits it in with the characters and what they've been through, and it's very creative about it. There's a ton of references in here, and not only is it cool to watch Aphmau tie together what Silent Hill 2 is about with her characters, it's also done extremely well, and I really enjoy watching this. It's mysterious, it's a bit spooky, it's fun, it's engaging, it's different. So much like in the original Silent Hill 2, Aphmau walks into this town trying to find Aaron, because as the title says, he's dead, but for some reason he's still here. Much like James going to Silent Hill to try to find his Mary. Even the video takes moments and characters from the game, with Aphmau needing to break open doors with a crowbar like how James does in the game, needing to solve puzzles and navigate around the town like the garden, the movie theater, the hotel, apartment, place. No.
Oh,
surprisingly enough, the original enemies are also here as well, while looking slightly
I didn't know that. I never played Silent Hill.
Pyramid Head also makes an appearance in this video, which, if you don't know, in the original game, Pyramid Head is a manifestation of James' guilt for what he did to Mary. Its inner consciousness wanted to literally swallow him up and kill him for what he has done. And at the end of the video, Aphmau even fights off Pyramid Head and finds out the truth.
That's what he represents? I didn't know that. I never had a chance to play Silent Hill like that. You definitely said that? Okay, gotcha. So I definitely said Silent Hill. I've seen the vibe, I've seen screenshots, and I've seen people play the game. But not so much about the lore, but definitely gave that feel. I love Peeves. Why is it James? Why is it what? What I do?
Just like what James did when he had to fight his inner conflict and stop repressing what he did. And what's crazy is that this video doesn't really end with a happy note. In fact, it's actually kind of sad, because much like what happened to James in the original game, Aphmau realizes that Aaron is dead and isn't here after all, but Aphmau still wants to find him. Then the video just ends. It's honestly really powerful. At first glance, I really didn't think much of it. This video is just Silent Hill 2, but Aphmau, and that was it. End of story. But there were a couple of things that started to rub me the wrong way. This entire video isn't just a bunch of references, it's all moments that are concentrated on a single plot, a single season of My Street. Specifically, Season 4, The Emerald Secret.
Yeah.
Normally there's a ton of jokes and references in our other videos, but this one is so centered on just Season 4 that I don't think it's a coincidence. We have Aaron's medical files, his jacket, the cabin, the snowy mountain cliff, Aphmau mentioning her eyes looking different, her outfit changing, her using the knife to defeat Pyramid Head, her talking to herself in this setting. This is the very same place where she attacked Aaron and he fell off the cliff.
Yep, I remember that. We talked about that.
This whole video is a complete tonal shift. This isn't a fun and goofy time like in our other videos. No, this is a very serious video. So I think it's about time I start treating it like one.
Okay.
Hey, my name's Akira and I make a ton of different kinds of content that I'm sure you'll like. So it would mean a lot if you subscribe and watch all my videos. Thank you so much.
Hold on a second. I'm subscribed to you, right? Anyways, so far so good, man.
For the support. I can't make these videos without your help, so I really appreciate you all watching. Alright, let's get back to the video. So let's start from the beginning. Silent Hill, the location is not real, sort of, kind of. It is a very real town, but the actual place with the fog is just a manifestation. This town twists someone's fears and regrets into real monsters that torments them. This place is definitely supernatural, and in the original game, the characters that we see are real, but they all see different things compared to what James sees.
Wow. Wait, is that supposed to be the... Does Peeves play that guy? Is Peeves supposed to be representing him?
They are real, but they all see different things compared to what James sees. This town manifests specific things for everyone who comes in contact with this. In Aphmau's version, I think all these characters are fake. To an extent. I think for the most part they are made by the town itself. A good example of this is the little girl, who constantly makes comments like, "The only monster I see is you, and the best thing you can do for him is die." Specifically with that moment, a siren can be heard off in the distance, then the kid just disappears, and the monsters start to chase Aphmau. This obviously wouldn't happen normally unless this kid is a magician. How do I make myself disappear? So knowing that this kid is possibly
or a demonic hellspawn. I lean towards that, yes.
Not real, that must mean that the other characters aren't either. They are manifestations from Aphmau's mind, meant to show her the truth and torment her and possibly even guide her. Maybe, I don't know, we'll get there. But why? Why is this town manifesting and making these characters for Aphmau? Well, in Silent Hill 2, James went into this town to find Mary, and at the end, spoiler alert, we find out that he actually killed her. This entire time, James was suppressing this information and just being straight up delusional. This town brought him here so he can understand the truth and stop chasing this ghost. The same thing actually applies to Aphmau. At the end of Season 4 of My Street, Aphmau ends up getting controlled by the Forever Potion and actually does murder Aaron. She slashes at him multiple times and pushes him off the cliff, but thanks to Irene's intervention and Aaron being such a Chad, he is able to pull himself together and fight Ian and save the princess and show everyone that being a furry is wrong. But that's not what happens here. No, in this video, Aaron is dead and never comes back.
If that was one of the missions of that scene, it failed. There's furries in my chat right now, probably.
His voice is constantly heard everywhere we go, haunting us. Aphmau also sees a vision of Aaron standing on the cliff multiple times. He's so close, yet he's always out of reach. He calls out, but we aren't able to find him because he's not here anymore. Our first clue of this is the medical report we find in the hospital. It doesn't give specifics, but it does say that Aaron's injuries are...
Let's read this real quick. Mr. Lycan's injuries are severe, transporting patient through town docks. So when we saw this part, I assumed that this is the part where they brought him to the inn, to get, to try to like stabilize him, but also to prevent people from getting a look at him, since I think at the time he had activated his eyes were red, so they didn't want anyone around him.
Very severe, and he'll need to be transported. But then we hear Aaron's voice coming from an operating room, which, with the context from the medical file, means that they definitely tried their hardest to keep him alive before transferring him. Our second clue is Aaron's jacket just chilling in the back alley near a McDonald's. Aphmau even mentions that it doesn't even smell like him, then goes on to say that it must have been here for a really long time. The fact that this is by the dumpster in some random back alley means that his clothes were thrown away for very obvious reasons. But most importantly,
because he got new ones? Oh, because he doesn't really wear a shirt most of the time anyways. Yeah?
Is forgotten about. Aphmau also randomly finds Aaron's bandana by the dock, which shouldn't even be possible. She should already have it by this point, and there's no way she'd just lose it. And even if she hasn't gotten it yet, Aaron was sent to the docks to be treated, so he should still have this on him. Speaking of Aaron, he also appears throughout this video, only to just disappear and say things like, "Stop, I know this isn't you, please remember." In other cases, he just straight up falls and we don't see him. The more this video goes on, the more it seems like these clues are guiding her, showing her what happened, trying its hardest to get through to her. Throughout Aphmau's adventure, she meets a couple of characters. I mentioned the kid already, who we know isn't real and it's just here to
The same clothes too, I think, right, guys? The clothes look very similar
be scared
to
of
the
Aphmau.
Silent Hill
We also
counterpart.
meet Zane, who oddly enough doesn't recognize Aphmau. He wonders if he's seen her before, but dismisses it. He's more worried about finding his daughter. We also find...
That's weird.
You've had a rough day too, huh? Our final character...
I normally don't sleep like that. So, yeah, looks like someone got tired of him.
We encounter is Peeps, who's definitely a character. More so than I can say for this lady. Hey, you doing okay? I'll take your silence as a yes. Zane's whole personality is weird. You can tell he cares, but after a bit of back and forth, with Zane first instigating with his rude comments, he yells and gets angry at Aphmau for her simply giving a little sass. But then he quickly snaps back into being more normal, saying that he's just stressed over trying to find his daughter. Peeps is very temperamental and also just clinically insane. He's very quick to panic. He tries to warn Aphmau of something, but doesn't do a very good job at it and
He
just
jumps
jumps
out the window.
His
Yeah.
goal is to try to get to the docks, and low-key, he's actually kind of smart. When they arrive at the park and see the sign that says the town needs a sacrifice, he's quick to figure out that the town is trapping them. The kid is always popping up and constantly running away from Aphmau, calling her a monster, the only monster that's around here. And when they make it to the dock, she randomly says, "He never made you happy. You know what you did, don't you?"
Wow.
And her eyes change color from blue to green. Aphmau then
I didn't
gets
even
on a
notice
boat
that.
and walks through a forest where she finds an emerald and a cat.
I noticed her eyes turn green, Aphmau's, but not hers.
Something called a forever potion.
Yeah, we
When
know
she
about
picks
that
it up,
one.
Her eyes and outfit change. Pyramid Head bursts through the door and Aphmau picks up a
I
knife.
gotta tell you, man. I gotta tell you something right now. And y'all, don't be mean to me about this, guys. You can say whatever you want about Ian, okay? Whatever you want to say about Ian in this season, you're probably right. However, Ian does have good taste. Ian does have good taste, doesn't he? You know, he picked out those clothes, didn't he? Come on now. You guys know. You know, I'm just saying. He had plans, okay? Very soon, there were going to be other plans. Anyways.
Attempts to defend herself, but to no avail. She runs, but all the doors are locked. She's trapped with this thing. There is no escape. Aphmau tries to figure out why this is all happening to her. What was the point of all this? Is Aaron
having a
even
hard time
here?
fighting that
What
thing.
is best for her? To find Aaron? The best thing that she ever had was taken away from her, so is this even worth it? Aphmau contemplates everything as she remembers everything she's been through, finally shouting at the creature, "The best thing that you can do is just die." Finally, this creature stops and walks away. Now finally free, Aphmau exits through the front door
She hurt his feelings. That is very not cool. Very rude.
and sees Aaron, who walks behind a tree and disappears. She turns
Because, I mean, yeah, of course, he's got to pee. That's what I do when I'm in the middle of a forest and I got to use the bathroom. I just go behind a tree. Don't come over here.
Hey, yo.
Doing my business.
What?
You heard me.
around and finds him at the edge of the cliff, where he walks off and once again disappears. And that's when she's finally faced with herself.
Yep.
Aphmau's other self says, "Alone in this little town, while he was alone on this cliff." Aphmau asks where she's been. Where is she? Her other self responds with, "You've always been here. Right here," as she gestures to her head.
Yeah.
Finally, Aphmau realizes the truth. She says out loud, "In this world, he never came back." "No," her other self responds. "So you end up staying here with me. What will you do?" Aaron's voice can be heard again as he proclaims his love for her once more. Aphmau's resolve strengthens and she swears she'll find him. Then the video just ends. Cut to black.
Yeah, that
So
was weird.
what does all this mean?
I think you guys remember, our thought was, at least mine was, once we saw that end scene for the video, is that this world was created by Aphmau, almost like either a defense mechanism for what she was doing, being trapped and unable to control her actions under the influence of a forever potion. So this was all happening in her head, probably not even in the same frame of time. Time was probably moving slower in this world, if that's the case. So while she was under the influence of the forever potion, this was happening in her mind. So when she was hearing Aaron breaking through that facade, breaking through that world, that illusion, it was because he was on that cliff or he was getting slashed or whatever, you know. So that's what I'm thinking.
Why was this video so subtle in the beginning, only for the last 5 minutes to slap us in the face of information and lore? Well, it's just like you saw. This entire place is Aphmau's personal hell. She is currently under the control of the Forever Potion. She's completely lost in her own
so I was
subconscious,
right.
and everything tries to call out to her. Everyone tries to guide her to fight back, but it's not working. That's why the town asked for a sacrifice. The only way out of this is to die. Aphmau knows this, but I think it also goes way deeper than that. I've mentioned it before, but Pyramid Head is a manifestation of guilt. It's the inner consciousness wanting to literally swallow up and kill James, or in this video, Aphmau, for murdering their loved one. That's why it constantly follows them and only ever attacks, well, Aphmau, or James, or whatever. That's why when Aphmau finally confronts it, it only backs away when the words, "the best thing that you can do is die," is said to it. Aphmau is saying this to herself, as she finally understands what this all means. Another enemy that we encounter that is very important is outside the police station. We can see these monsters that look very familiar. These creatures just crawl around. It appears to have stitches or maybe even a zipper. There's also a version that walks around but doesn't actually attack. It just watches us from a distance. In the original game, this was a common enemy that James faced off and was literally showing him that his hands aren't clean. This is supposed to be a body bag. This is a metaphor for how he murdered Mary.
Wow. I did not catch that. I was hard to tell what the... I think I did mention that they look like they're in body bags, but I didn't put that together. I did not put that together, that it was representing her guilt, that she essentially murdered somebody. And I mean, Aaron came back, but you still killed him. Did we ever put her in jail for that? I mean, technically, we could.
The fact that Aphmau sees this too means that she has seen this because she has murdered someone or come really close to it.
That's like 3 body bags in that scene. She's seeing like a whole bunch of body bags. That did she like mow down an army while she wasn't paying attention? Did she like take down a whole crew like on her lunch break?
To explain, but I think I can do it. While in the hospital, a sound is heard and we can see another creature break through the door. And interestingly enough, it's someone covered in bandages. In another conversation, Zane asked Aphmau what she saw, confirming that these bandaged people are actually nurses, just like in the original game. Now, in Silent Hill 2, the nurses are here to show James' anxiety with always seeing doctors because of Mary being sick. That's why they're all bandaged up. But it's also to show his sexual frustration that he has. He wants to be intimate with Mary, but she can't because she's literally dying. This obviously doesn't really apply.
That doesn't seem... What? Oh, man, it sucks I can't make love to you because, you're dying and all. Man, I'm so upset. Oh, frustrated. I don't know. That doesn't feel right, guys.
Aphmau, unless she kind of freaky like that. But I think it's mostly the same idea. Aaron suffered a lot of injuries, so this enemy symbolizes that with being wrapped up in bandages, and it being a nurse because Aphmau knows that she sent him to the hospital. But it's not just monsters that Aphmau interacts with. There's also 3 other people who she talks to, and I'm not sure what their roles are. They could just be references to the original game. I mean, Eddie is right there. The kid specifically plays a major part in this story. So Zane and Peeps have to mean more than they're letting on. When we get separated from Zane, he yells out, "I need to remember," while getting chased by the nurses. This could mean that Zane and Aphmau are both stuck in this world, trapped by...
That's true. That could mean that. But then my question is, what's Peeps doing here? Because obviously he wasn't in season 4.
By the Forever Potion, and Zane is trying his hardest to remember but only suffering and losing himself every second that passes. The little kid can symbolize Aphmau with her innocence and Zane being pushed back and becoming someone he doesn't want to be. After Zane goes and has fun with the ladies, he's such a Chad. We enter this hospital room and right next to this very alive lady who's clearly napping, there's a note that reads, "I'm her father. You kept her away from me. I will deliver justice." Zane is being controlled by the Forever Potion and possibly murders someone trying to protect his daughter, or rather Aphmau. Zane has always been protective of Aphmau throughout the entire series.
That's what I was thinking. Because I don't see any... There's no character like that, like physically in like the main storyline of My Street, unless you're referring to Aphmau, because he is super protective of her. Yeah. So I wasn't sure if I should say that. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's confirmed.
Dang, do you remember this old My Street episode?
Yeah, I remember
this makes so much more sense now. And if we go back to the idea that this
Specifically
world is
remember
not
that.
real, then I think the most fitting answer is that this is what Zane ultimately becomes. This is possibly how Aphmau's dark subconscious sees him at this point. He's angry, he's very caring, but he's dangerous.
Ow.
As for Peeps, his inclusion is the hardest to figure out. He's very irrational and could just be a showcase of how far gone Aphmau is, or maybe
Yeah.
even a depiction of Ian himself, as this is how she sees him at this point. He could even symbolize some deep-rooted trauma, or maybe he's just some guy. I have no idea. What I
He's
do
a-
find
yeah, I'm a
interesting
little
is
confused
when
about
we
him.
find a guy stabbed and Peeps is freaking out, he immediately tries to defend himself and he tells us that he didn't do it and that it just happened.
He definitely
Meaning
did
that
it.
Peeps could just be Aphmau, trying her best to hold herself together and cope with the fact that she
You know, I'm gonna be honest with you guys as an aside, I can't wait for, I guess, the day or the episode where we find out more about Peebs. Because a lot of people love Peebs. But let's be real here. I don't know. He's never been in any series before this, right, guys? So maybe he's a season 7 character? Maybe we'll see him in season 7, guys. And there'll be a reference to season 4 and how it ties to him, maybe. That's all I can think of. I have nothing else outside of that.
took a life,
Same with
becoming
Xena?
a complete mess as she
Maybe.
falls deeper in despair, ultimately dying when she goes too far.
I mean, with Xena, it could be just Xena and Peebs. It's like they're separate from the whole My Street thing. It could be. It has nothing to do with them at all. It could be. But, you know, let's find out, I guess.
Well, this is kind of dark. Here's a picture of a cat. You feel good now? I
No.
don't.
That
Overall,
cat
I
was
love
cute,
this
though.
episode or movie or whatever you want to call it. It's very unique to what Aphmau has done before, and there's a lot of care put into this, and overall, it's just nice fan service. I love when we bring back old stuff and talk about the lore. So thank you so much for this. This was a lot of fun to talk about.
Mm-hmm. All right. So at least this confirms that I was right about what this Silent Hill world was supposed to be. So, yeah, pretty cool video. I'm glad that I was able to figure out some of the stuff before watching it. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, but definitely follow this person if you haven't done so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure most of you guys have already followed Write It Out. And actually, why don't you go here? Why don't you go here and annoy him a little bit? Tell him that Jam just reacted to his video. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, take care of yourself, and as always, stay jammin'.